I want to go back and talk about one thing that did happen, and I thought was a very good thing when you remixed Memorial Roots. You know, remember when that came out? I remember when that album came out. I liked it, but I was disappointed with how it sounded. And then probably seven years later, you remixed it. I remember, and in fact, I remember listening to it, the remixed version of that record, and I was like, you know, I think it was the song "Cross the Line" when he first did the remix, and that, you know, that kind of like just real fast riff in the beginning of the song. I was like, man, they improved this. They remixed this album and improved this. Talk about that, because I remember Memorial Roots did get a lot of bad press when it came out, but I think you more than compensated for that press with the remix and obviously bonus tracks and stuff like that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. It's Memory Roots was kind of a. It was a hard album to make. Everything was kind of. How can I say that? Kind of. It felt very dark around the band, not because of the band not doing well. So, but
Yeah,
we changed to AFM, and we had the songs written and they felt great, but we wanted to have a different approach to the sound. We wanted to have more dynamic. And when we did the mix, we felt, well, that's what the album needs. But looking back at it, I think we went a step too far, you know, and people didn't get it. And as people are used to a sound that is very compressed and compensated, not open to dynamics anymore, that's why people didn't get what we tried to express
yeah,
with how we mixed the album, you know. And when you get that kind of feedback, it's not a good decision to say, well, it was a fault and we change it now immediately, because there was a plan behind it, and the plan was just that didn't go well, you know.
hmm
So it of course took some time, and until we found the time to really have time to for a real remix, not only a remaster, because the album needed a real remix, and we had so many good songs in addition from that songwriting phase. So we decided to make it a real remix and remaster thing with, I think it was 6 bonus tracks.
yeah. I had a lot of bonus tracks actually.
And yeah, and then all of a sudden, people that hated the original version loved the new version.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it was really the sound. The song. You know, it's interesting you mentioned that. The songs on that album are unlike anything I think you guys have ever written before or since then. It was just. It was such a different record, but the songs themselves I thought were well written. It almost felt a lot more progressive, probably more than power metal for me. And that to me, you know, I remember what I said about the album. Aside from the mix not being the greatest for me, I thought the songwriting and the route you went down was really cool, because that album you kind of evolved in your songwriting from what you were doing before,
Absolutely.
and it was so much different. But you know, then now I listen to the records you're putting out now, and you do still, ever since then, you still have some of that progressiveness in your music ever since that album came out. And I always felt that for me, that was an important record for you guys, because it was a progression, you know, from what you were doing in the past. So, but yeah, I loved the remix. I mean, the bonus tracks were really, really cool. And that whole package was great when it came out. And I had almost forgotten about the album a little bit until I read that, you know, back in 2016 that was coming out. And I thought the job that was done, the remix, was great. And I think you really hit a home run, as we say over here, with that. So, but I always thought Memorial Roots is kind of a turning point for the band in the songwriting department in a good way.
Yep.
So, you know, I figured I'd bring that up because the other day, you know, before I did this interview, I'm listening to the back catalog and I'm like, man, I forgot this album got remixed. So,
Yeah.
that
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely. But yeah, it's great to having had the chance to do that remix. You
mhm.
know, It's of course everything is a question of money, and it was a
Yeah.
huge project, to open up all the files and do a real remix, which of course was a financial risk, but we wanted to give the album the sound that it deserves,
Yeah. No.
and we're still very lucky that we did that.
Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.